technically speaking, we haven't truly entered phase two of the banana zone yet. We've just picked up the banana again.
That's right. It'll be when Bitcoin breaks its new highs, which I think is probably next week, because we get to the top, we consolidate a bit, and then it goes, and then everything goes. And the banana zone really won't kick in the terms of the way that people think, where everybody's getting hilariously rich and all sorts of stuff, probably until Solana breaks all-time highs. Because that's people's biggest bag, really, is Solana. And that needs to happen. Then risk gets recycled out the curve, because people do simple maths, and everybody's going to do it. Oh, they start saying, okay, maybe Bitcoin goes to 300,000 this cycle, let's say. So therefore, it's got a 3x from here. And then they're like, oh, but Solana could do a 5x from here, and Sui could do a 10x from here. And before you know it, everybody rushes out the risk curve, because it's later in the cycle and they want to capture as much gains as possible.
Bitcoin is currently hovering just below its all-time high, and according to Real Vision CEO Raoul, once it breaks through, it will trigger the second phase of the market cycle, a period marked by rapid capital rotation and accelerated growth across the entire crypto space. Although Bitcoin remains above the key $100,000 level, the next phase hasn't fully ignited yet. Momentum has cooled slightly, with some short-term drag coming from the derivatives market. Still, on-chain data signals continued strength, and structurally, the market appears primed for continuation rather than reversal. We're in a transitional phase, positioned above major psychological levels but still waiting for a definitive breakout to kickstart the next leg higher. Pal emphasizes that the real banana zone, his term for exponential growth, doesn't begin until Bitcoin convincingly clears its previous all-time high. That breakout would reset market sentiment and ignite a fresh wave of capital rotation into riskier assets, creating the kind of euphoric movement that defines late-stage bull runs. However, Pal suggests the true signal of full risk-on behavior won't arrive until Solana also reclaims its own all-time high. That event, he argues, is the unofficial green light that risk appetite is back in full force. Once Solana breaks out, investors typically stretch the risk curve, pouring into lagging altcoins in search of outsized gains. That moment hasn't arrived yet, but according to Pal, it's drawing very near.
Funny to me is we've kind of proven that liquidity is 90% of the price movement of crypto and 97.5% of the NASDAQ. So it is the dominant macro factor, but people don't want to believe it. And because like global M2 leads by 3 months, what happened is in Q4, global liquidity was draining because the dollar went up and rates went up and etc. And so that has the knock-on effect in Q1. And then what everybody does is apply narrative in Q1. It's the tariffs, the world's fucked, we're going to the recession. It was nothing to do with that. It was just the liquidity. So it's kind of like, yeah, it was this easy. Now, what it will do, it will decouple at some point. And normally it decouples in the bull phase of the cycle and then the full bear phase, because that's when fear and greed take over. And like the FOMO part of it is when network adoption increases massively, and it starts breaking away from M2, which is why it only has a 90% correlation, not 100%. So I think we'll see that now. And it's just saying now is, if this continues to play out, it's just banana zone from now until July. And then we've had, we've got to think 3 months in advance. So what we've had is the dollar correcting the last couple of weeks, rates correcting. So we should see the market correct in August.
Yeah.
And maybe it's as simple as that. And that would be very consistent with previous cycles as well. Everyone's scratching their head saying, why has gold been doing so well and crypto has? And I thought, I know there's going to be a simple answer to this. It's not going to be some complex thing. And in the last GMI, I figured out that all gold does is follow financial conditions, which lead. So it's kind of real time. And then crypto follows with a 3-month lag. So it's like, oh, I get it now. So gold is just representing the fact that financial conditions, and we define financial conditions as the dollar, rates, and oil. Those are the kind of big daddies of it. Once they start moving, gold moves. So gold has been correcting somewhat because they've started to correct. And so gold is actually leading this because it just is real-time financial conditions, while Bitcoin and crypto and NASDAQ is just lagged by 3 months. It's as simple as that. And I can't believe it. I put out a tweet at the actual peak of Bitcoin dominance and said, I think dominance has peaked. I think it has.
Introducing the all-new Ledger Flex, Your next level crypto wallet is here. Sleek, premium, powerful. The Ledger Flex delivers a solid high-end feel with smooth edges for a more comfortable grip, and that satisfying nostalgic sound you didn't know you missed. Still clicking away in your old Nano S? It's time to upgrade and lock in your crypto gains with style this bull run. Smooth, modern design built for serious profit. Click the link below to grab your exclusive Ledger Flex. Ditch the rest, go Ledger Flex.
It's the right point in the cycle. It's this part in the banana zone when it happens. It usually happens after this first correction. So if that's right, and let's say Bitcoin goes from 100K to 150K for easy maths, then if you look at the performance of the other tokens, you can kind of impute what happens is that SUI probably does 3x that. So Bitcoin dominance, generally when it falls, it is the start of the silly season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, obviously, by definition, it means that other tokens are outperforming Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin's going up, which we're still going up, then what we should see is that. So I think, we've had a little correction in Bitcoin dominance, went from 62 back to 63. It'll top out again and then move lower. And that next move, people will really start to see it. And I think that's the move when Bitcoin goes through all-time highs and everything else goes completely bananas. So here's the same kind of period in 2021. So it happened in Jan that time around.
Yeah.
That drop went from 70 something percent down to 38% in a few months.
That's crazy.
Right, that's alt season. We saw it here back in 2017, which I think is a very similar one. It started like in Feb 17. That went from 95 to 35.
Yeah.
What's interesting is Bitcoin dominance over time is falling. So the peaks are always less.
Lower highs.
The lows seem to be roughly equal, but it suggests to us that we should come somewhere back down here, and it happens fast. It happens in 2, 3, 4 months. My bet has been, as you know, has been sweet because it's outperformed everything.
Yeah.
It just keeps going up, correcting, going up, correcting, going up, correcting. So it does all the right things. It outperforms all of the time. And I don't see any reason why that's going to stop. People argue a lot about, low free float VC tokens. People don't understand a simple fact is that a low free float in a bull market goes up more. Yeah. Anybody who's ever traded emerging markets knows this. And that's what happens. And in a bear market, they get killed more. It's as simple as that, because you've got less available supply and a lot of demand because there's a lot of attention on SUI and other things like this. And so it tends to work really, really well. This is the Solana SUI chart. If I look at it on a weekly basis. So it broke out of this basing pattern. It flagged, consolidated. My guess is the next move breaks through all of this. And so that tells us that SUI is still the fastest horse in the race.
Yeah.
ETH, different question, because I think it can play catch up. But if we look at this, it just looks like it's flagging here again. And the next move is again the move where we should see a dramatic outperformance of SUI versus SOL. And I really simplify everything, because if we've got one dominant factor, and the dominant factor being liquidity, therefore everything is correlated. So therefore, just do one chart against the other and choose the strongest asset without going too far out the risk curve. But basically, this is a flag pattern. When this goes, ETH has its next move up, wherever it goes to. That's a shocking chart if this plays out, because it will change everybody's narrative again about ETH. I still think ETH from here, could it outperform Solana? It's possible. It's possible. Just because what I think is coming is, as the financial system comes, you don't get fired for building on ETH. My idea is ETH is Microsoft. I've never been to a bank, an insurance company, a large corporate that has Apple Macs. It's all on Microsoft. Why? Because it's an operating system that everybody can use, and you can hire people, fire people, bring in new people, and they don't have to learn something new. But if you were to build the entire financial system on SUI, everyone has to learn a move language. There's less number of developers. It's not had the Lindy effects that ETH has. Now, also the banks love a layer 2 because they feel like they've got control over certain things, but it still has the finality of settlement to the layer 1. So I think ETH is probably going to shock people going forwards. But, you know, XRP looks like it will too, and so does Doge. So it's kind of like everything's correlated.
Yeah.
But if we can break that high, if we can break that, let's say, 4,300 high, it's going to really explode. I think we do have an NFT season.
Yeah.
Somewhat different than the last. I think what we're seeing is a current bifurcation. One is Web3 consumer-based brands being built. And, you know, we'll talk about what you guys are doing.
Yep.
But, you know, that's Doodles, Pudgy Penguins, all of that, right? And that still seems to be capturing mind share. Then we've got the art side, which seems to be doing well. Then we've got the PFP side, which, you know, there are a few projects that will survive. And Punks, you know, going to the hands of Mickey Malko, is a good friend of mine, is amazing news. I managed to get the head of the Sui Foundation over drinks one night in Dubai at 11 o'clock at night to get a punk. I said, the reality is you cannot be in the space and having been reasonably successful without owning a punk, right? It's like, it's a rite of passage. Yeah. And so, you know, I think punks probably get to a floor price of $500,000 this cycle, just because there's a lot of OGs who haven't yet bought.
Bitcoin has spent the past week trading just below the $14,000 to $15,000 range, a zone widely viewed as a significant resistance level. At first glance, this sideways movement might appear to be a stalled rally. However, Raoul Pal and other analysts interpret it as a potentially healthy consolidation phase. Rather than indicating weakness, the current pattern may be forming a classic bull flag, a technical setup that often precedes another strong upward breakout. The recent dip in buying volume has created some hesitation among traders, but it likely reflects a market pausing to wait for its next major catalyst. After a sharp move up, fueled by ETF inflows and mass liquidations, a period of stabilization is not only expected but considered necessary. These consolidation phases help absorb sell pressure, allowing the market to catch its breath and prepare for the next move. With most immediate selling likely exhausted, some believe a minor pullback, possibly toward the $100,000 level or briefly into the $90,000s, could serve as a reset to spark fresh momentum. It's during these pauses that the foundation for the next leg of the cycle is often built. Let's go back to Raoul Pal as he continues to break down what could come next.
The average billionaire has like 4 or 5 houses. Beyond that, you can't buy anything. So what happens is the value of the art in their houses is 10x the value of their house.
Yeah.
Because art is a store of value, it's exchangeable, it's transportable, you know, it's actually a very, very good store of wealth. So I'm just thinking as a long-term bet, you know, by 10 years, some of these X copies will have traded at $200 million. We will see record prices in art in this space, right? So there's a bunch of people experimenting with, yet again, token-based economies based around IP and stuff. You're doing it, you kind of backed into it the other way round. The others have done it the other way. Nobody's yet to get it right. But all of our thesis is somehow this should connect to an ecosystem in a way that works. So whether Doodles can pull it off, whether you guys pull it off, I don't know, but somebody's going to get there. We just don't know the mechanism to accrue value to the token in a way that does it, whether it's via buybacks or whether it's via opportunity sets or loyalty points or whatever. We keep creating these token economies and they keep failing because there's an airdrop, people then just dump it, there's no real use for the token, and then it gets forgotten. So I don't even know why people do it most of the time, because the actual founding team don't retain much of it. The thing falls 90% afterwards.
And you have a liability.
What have you done? What have you done that's added any value? I love what you're doing, and I love that you're pushing it hard to try and do it, because somebody's going to get this right.
Yeah, somebody's going to get it right.
It's the same with the creator economy. It's the same with sports teams. It's the same with brands. Somebody's going to crack this, and the whole thing is going to fucking explode. Whether it's this cycle, we get the first look at it, then we get the Lindy effect, and then after that is the big one. But it's coming. I know it is. It's been part of my core thesis. So I love how you guys are experimenting. The Doodles one, does that work? I don't know, but they have a mean, I caught up with Austin the other day. They have a lot of ideas of what they want to do to create true value from it. So it's not just a meme coin in itself. Meme coins is okay. I don't have an issue with it. But really, if somebody can figure out how to make an economy, then we've got something big, really big.
Raoul Pal believes the long-term trajectory of the crypto space is already taking shape. From its current $3 trillion valuation, he projects the market could grow to $100 trillion over the next decade. That surge in capital won't remain idle, it will shift, adapt, and seek out assets that can store value with depth and meaning. Bitcoin, as the most established digital asset, will remain a key anchor for this capital. But Pal emphasizes that the flow won't stop there. Other sectors of the crypto ecosystem will absorb wealth as well. One of the most unexpected but powerful destinations for that capital, according to Pal, is digital art. He argues that NFTs are not just trendy digital collectibles, they're evolving into meaningful assets that reflect cultural relevance, digital ownership, and historical context. As the crypto-native generation accumulates wealth, they will seek to invest in things that resonate with their identity and values. NFTs, which live natively on-chain and are often tied to creators, communities, and ideas, offer a new kind of value, visible, tradable, and emotionally connected. Pal sees this as the emergence of a new financial layer where capital, identity, and self-expression converge. While the NFT space is still maturing and often misunderstood, he believes it's laying the groundwork for a future where digital assets go beyond speculation and begin to reflect the culture and capital of an increasingly online world. In his view, NFTs will play a foundational role in shaping where the crypto ecosystem heads next. Before we continue with the rest of the video, do check out daily 5-minute crypto newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part is it's absolutely free. They'll cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.